Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the breakfast program this beautiful Friday morning, being the 9th day in the month of December 2022. My name is Michael Bassi, and I'm super delighted to be a part of you this morning, just to make sure that all our social media handles, you have taken care of them, you have joined them, you have liked them, and follow the things that we do here on a daily basis. And in the course of the program, if you feel you want to make a comment, you feel you have a question, and you want it to be read and you want to be heard, just make sure that you don't play with the social media, because that is where you are actually going to be talking to us from. And of course, if that is done, I mean, we are good to go. And talking about the 9th day in the month of December, let me use this opportunity to say a very, very big congratulations to the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, former commissioner, former Senate minority leader, and of course, the immediate past minister in charge of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio. You might be thinking why I am congratulating him. To be 60 years is not a child's play. Of course, for the people who've been up to 60 years, you would know that the hustlings of life, the bustlings and all the pressures of life from when you were born until you became an infant and you grew into childhood and you became adolescent, you became an adult, and from adulthood you started, designing your path and following them through, and of course surmounting obstacles, both the ones that are natural and the ones that are man-made, and the ones that are created by the devil. You fall, you rise, you get to 30, you pass it, you get to 40, and you get to 60. I'm still thinking and of course praying and hoping that when I get to 60 years that I'll be very strong and very, very healthy. But for today, it is for distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio. He's been a man of exceptional qualities. I think I am very, very blessed to have been a part of the state, and very, very mature and with open eyes when he was the governor of Akwa Ibom State. And it is one era that I continue to thank God. I don't have much to say. Maybe I should introduce the reviewer as early as possible this morning so that he will have one or two things to say. But before we get to that, between now and when the presidential election is going to be conducted on the 25th of February 2022, I think it is remaining 78 days, if I'm not mistaken. So that simply means that as the days are coming by, the election is coming very close. The days are coming by. Before you know it, you're going to see yourself in February and all that. So what am I trying to tell you? Get prepared to be a part of that process. If you have not collected your PVC, immediately after this program, find where you registered and begin to make inquiries. Let them tell you exactly when you are to come and get it, because it is a very, very important assignment. It is a very important exercise, an exercise that happens once in just 4 years. I mean, how can you take that kind of opportunity for granted? So 25th of February, you are going to start making the necessary, taking the necessary steps to make sure that you have new crop of leaders from whichever political party, and of course that is going to be decided by you. So just take advantage of this moment and be a part of that history. Independent National Electoral Commission, not once, not twice, not 3 times, has told you that this particular election is going to be a game changer because of quite a number of innovations and upgrade of all the things that are needed to make sure that we have a seamless, free, fair, credible polls in 2023. So you don't have anything to worry about. Forget about insecurity. It's going to be taken care of, all right? So don't fear about anything, because I'm sure that the necessary departments, agencies, and ministries of government are doing everything possible to make sure that that exercise comes and very fruitfully. All right. So, Comrade Udemba Odofa is a gentleman, a very senior colleague of mine, a journalist per excellence, and of course an analyst to the core. He comes from Akwa Ibom State. He was very much around when His Excellency Godswill Obot Akpabio, GSM, was the governor. So, and luckily he is here in the studio. I'm sorry you didn't know you were going to talk about this, but then being a journalist, you can be taken for, you can be surprised at any moment because you're supposed to be grounded. Well, so His Excellency Godswill Akpabio is 60. Are you up to 60 years?
I'm closer to 60.
You see?
I'm closer to 60 than 50.
Okay.
So I don't want to say that we're the same grade.
Age brackets.
He's my very beloved senior brother. And I'm very happy to be here today because today is, would you say a red letter day for me? I have said it at several fora that Godswill Akpabio happens to be one of my political heroes because he is a jinx breaker. He didn't just break the jinx, he moved us away from that jinx. There's one thing to break a jinx, and it's another thing to move away from that jinx. So I celebrate with Chief Godswill Akpabio, former governor of Akwa Ibom State. I celebrate him as a father. I celebrate him as a husband, and I celebrate him as somebody's son. I would like my son to be like an Akpabio. Yeah, I'm sure his father, wherever he is, he's happy that he had a son like that to fly that name. So I'm really, really, really on top of my joy today. And being that 60 is a year, a remarkable year. I heard you talk about 60 as if you had already been 60.
No, I have people who are 60, so I know what it is.
So it's a year, a daemon year. It's a year of the daemon. It's not golden. It's beyond golden. It's 60. I'm looking forward to being 60 in a couple of years. So I want to really thank God for giving us an Akpabio, a Godswill Akpabio, a particular Akpabio, because an Akpabio is a name in Akwa Ibom State. But we are talking about a particular Akpabio who happens to be Godswill Obot Akpabio. So I'm very happy to be here on the day that he is 60 years.
Well, it surprises me that he's 60. When he was governor, he was 45. I mean, so it's just, years just fly like that.
It's a roller coaster kind of activities because of the fact that he has inputted a lot. That's why we've lost track of we never get used to him. He's not a historical figure. He's a man who is consistently adding value to himself, his community. This is the kind of person that you call community leader, because for him the world is a community. He's a game changer. He's a jinx breaker. Wherever he goes, there's a light, and there's nothing you can do to stop that light. The Bible says that men do not light a candle and put it under the bed, but you put it out there so that men will see and glorify the Father. Most of the things that he does is a ministry. He's making people to glorify the Father. A lot of people still look back to the gospel years in Akwa Ibom State and we're like, say, it's a taste. You see, every man lives for one moment of glory. One moment of glory. I don't know whether you have had your own, but I wish you have not had, because I see bigger things. But I think that being in Akwa Ibom as during the Akpabio years is one of my moments of glory. He's a very remarkable character. So I am so happy. I'm excited. I am radiant. It's a beautiful day for me.
Okay, so I join the rest of the world, people of goodwill, people who love the former governor, if not for anything, but the fact that he turned our dear state. I am a witness. I was here. I don't want to tell you when I was born, but I think, my eyes were very, very open, to see the standard that Akwa Ibom State was before he became a governor in 2007.
Sorry, sir. Let's just take our gaze away from what he was able to achieve as a state. It's possible to be an achiever out there, but you are a scoundrel. This guy is a remarkable character. I've had opportunities of sitting with him, close quarters. I know that, number one, he's a man who loves people. He's a man who radiates joy. He's a man who wants to solve problems for people at a micro stage, at a level, at a close level. He's not a poser. He's not, when people talk about humility, it's not about whether somebody will bow down for people, and he's not a showy person. I have related to him during the elections. I saw him. He hosted me in his house. He talked with me like an ordinary person. So he's a remarkable character. He's a man who I would like to, well, you said something in French, so let me also give you some little French. I would like to describe him as a paragon of life's sang-froid. It's somebody who has seen the best and the worst of life. He had a deprived background, but he was able to turn life's problems ahead of himself. He was turning them for better. He's a guy who confronted problems, and of course people have disappointed him. He has gotten into the murky waters of politics, but he has still come out undefeated. So he's a paragon of life, Sam Freud. He has seen the best of life, and I wish that God will continue to give him bigger opportunities to bring light to people.
And I say amen. Congratulations, Your Excellency. Happy 60th anniversary to you. And from all of us here at ABN and Passion 94.5 FM, we wish you a happy birthday. And we pray that although what I'm about to say, some people may say, oh, he has already reaped now. But I just want to pray that you will stay and reap the fruits of your labor. Because as the days go by, more things are in front of you. And you will not die young. And of course, I know that you have the number of years you would want to live. You are going to see that. So I say amen to your prayers. ABN says amen to your prayers on this very special day of yours. Congratulations. And of course, God continue to bless you and keep you strong. Give you whatever it takes, continue to do the things you are doing for the people of Akwa Ibom, for the people of the Niger Delta region, for the people of the South and the people of Nigeria. And very soon you're going to be doing things for the people of the world. And of course, we are so excited this morning. Thank you very much and happy birthday once again. All right, so Celine Dion stormed the world yesterday when she made a very short video and unfortunately telling the entire world that she is not feeling fine. And it was a moment of a sober reflection for me. And of course, it got me thinking. But then, let us play you that video and get to hear what she's talking about.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to reach out to you. I miss you all so much. And I can't wait to be on stage talking to you in person. As you know, I've always been an open book. And I wasn't ready to say anything before. But I'm ready now. I've been dealing with problems with my health for a long time. And it's been really difficult for me to face these challenges and to talk about everything that I've been going through. Recently, I've been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome, which affects something like 1 in a million people. While we're still learning about this rare condition, we now know this is what's been causing all of the spasms that I've been having. Unfortunately, these spasms affect every aspect of my daily life, sometimes causing difficulties when I walk and not allowing me to use my vocal cords to sing the way I'm used to.
Oh, well, you've heard that, and I don't know what you feel about it, but our hearts are with her, and we pray that something happens. Good enough. There are improved medical services where she is, and I'm very sure that everything is going to be done to, sustain her. So it's a very difficult moment in her life and that of her family. So we are sorry about that, and we pray that divine help will locate you. All right, so let's take a look at the papers we have today, and we start with the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent has these: fear nobody, you have my support. Buhari tells CBN governor. Decision on withdrawal limits not rigid, says Emefiele. Banks have received new Naira notes for onward dispensing. And that's what has been captured as the banner headline on the Daily Independent newspaper. We move away from that. We are under pressure to compromise 2023 general elections. Military. It says Reuters abortion allegation against its spurious. Teku urges military to guarantee credible polls. And of course, FG Malls, another concessioning of Ajaokuta, says 11 firms interested. G5, Rivers government raises the alarm over plots to blackmail Wike. Of a robbery, witness narrates how suspects were tortured to implicate Saraki. Court orders IGP to produce ex-AIG Mbu for prosecution. Those are the headlines on the Daily Independent as we move to the Daily Times. The Daily Times has this: cashless policy, no going back on bank withdrawal limits. Emefiele says CBN to slightly review amounts. HOR summons, that is House of Reps, summons Emefiele, wants CBN to suspend policy. That's the biggest story there on the Daily Times newspaper. Military will resist any pressure to compromise election. Generally, Rabo, FG to review credit disbursements criteria by development institutions, a finance minister. Banks now have the new Naira notes, CBN governor. DSS gives NNPCL others 48 hours to resolve fuel scarcity. And we move straight to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune has these: CBN, we won't be rigid on cash withdrawal limits, but policy stays. Mates Buhari in Daura gets support, says 1.4 million super agents exist. 500 billion old notes now in bank vaults. Begins distribution of new Naira notes. Reps order a CBN to hold policy. This could be found on pages 7 and 8. Suspected political thugs attack Atiku Usman in Rivers. House invaded. Vehicles damaged. Rivers government says group orchestrating campaign of calumny against Wike over G5 demands. Ajaokuta plans. FG begins payment of $486 million arbitration fee to litigants. NPA raises concern over neglect of hinterland connectivity for $1.5 billion Lekki Port. 5.6 million PVCs collected in Lagos, INEC. And of course, page 28 is where you can find that report. And on the Nation newspaper, before we get to the analysts for his take, Emefiele, a review of cash withdrawal policy likely. 1 trillion mopped up. Reps invite CBN governor, want plans suspended. Comrade Demoba, we have taken a look at 4 papers, and all of the 4 papers are very heavy on the cashless policy, and particularly the fact that the CBN governor met with President Buhari and said a few things. What do you think about what's going on? First and foremost, the cashless policy, because ever since the circular was released, I think this is the first time I've had to see you. So do you think that in the first place, the 20,000 Naira withdrawal limit was the right thing to do?
Well, if you have to wait until things are convenient, anything is convenient, you will not be able to go ahead with the policy. It has a starting points, and then there's an upper limit, you know. So I am happy that the CBN governor is considering a review of the limit, of the cash limit. But I support all the activities that have kept them busy these past weeks. I support the cashless policy regime that is in place, and I support all the measures that are put in place.
Don't you think it is supposed to be a gradual process?
No,
Do you think it is something
there's-
that the CBN should just wake
I
up?
was coming to that. You know,
Okay.
desperate situations require desperate initiatives. You know, Nigerians are not the kind of people that you have to give a warm bath. You know, you must start with something and then try to put them in, you know, to be able to get a positive response. We will still sit down there and keep wringing our hands and saying, you know, people that are in the rural areas, let these things go ahead so that we can improve our communications, we can improve our telecommunications, we can expand the exchange, we can do all sorts of things. We can get Nigerians to embrace banking more. We can make money from increase revenue from banking. You know, we don't have to wait for people that have not caught up with the internet bug to say we have to get them. The world is moving ahead, and so Nigerians have a responsibility of moving ahead with the times. It is a very, very, very workable policy. Imagine 500 billion in how many weeks have been
Mopped up.
You know, what was this money doing outside the bank in any case? And when I was watching the news yesterday, I felt so outraged that the reps are ordering. What are they ordering him to do? Is it just possible that somebody will sit down and say things that will harm the generality of Nigerians?
So as reps, don't they have a right to ask questions?
No, it's the manner with which they say they're going to summon him to explain, you know. But I am suspecting that because this thing bites down, that's why. You see, these are things that the reps should have introduced even before the bank. They should have been able to put as an input. You should have been able to input this into the cash system. They have the certain committees in charge of this. There's so much money outside the banking system. It is one way of curtailing criminality, because at the end of the day, you will be able to trace the source of criminal funds. You know, so I am very happy. It's not a gradual thing. You see, remember what happened in the NIN thing, you know, the NIN thing. People kept on thinking, well, that's the way government will do it, and that at the end of the day, a lot of the telecommunications companies were affected. A lot of businesses were stalled, and now people have wisened up. So for me, if I was the CBN guy, I would have stuck to the 20,000 limit. Go ahead, go online.
But have you...
the generality of people in the villages
that's
and
what
all
I'm
of
saying.
that.
Have you forgotten?
Yes.
You cannot put these people in isolation. You have to carry everyone along.
No, that's right. But the truth is that is an opportunity for us to do a remapping. It's an opportunity for us to go to the villages and look for how to make money in the villages. Let the telecom companies go ahead and expand their exchange to include those people. Do you know that majority of Nigerians are in the rural areas? A lot of us that are in the cities believe that life just happens in the cities, but people are doing weddings. People are going around doing profitable services and activities in the rural areas. So let this be an opportunity for us to go back to the hinterland and make sure that those ones are covered by the internet.
And he paid a visit to President Buhari yesterday in Daura, and Buhari said to him, "Fear nobody. You have my support."
That's right.
Is that enough?
Well, they has to be sure of the Oga at the top, the support of the Oga at the top. Otherwise, his policy might go under, you know. So it's enough. But the truth about it is that the CBN should also form very vital connections with stakeholders. They should use this opportunity to ensure that stakeholders are being brought into the whole issue. I think that it is a good thing that he visited the president, at least to keep the president apprised of what is happening, and also to have the president's support. And at the end of the day, he will be able to continue with that policy without any problem. I support the policy, and I think every reasonable Nigerian should try as much as possible to support that policy.
But the one that bothers me most, I'm thinking about the people who are doing POS business, and you know that the job, that venture has taken a lot of people out of unemployment.
That's right.
But so this policy doesn't seem, to be favorable to them. How are they going to do it?
No, they will pick up in time. They will pick up in time. They will pick up in time. They will have to extend their services beyond cash. Beyond cash, they will have to extend their services to cover transfers and all of that. Certainly there has to be an extension of services to be able to involve a bigger gamut of services.
All right, so let's take a look at this G5 palaver. Rivers government raises the alarm over plot to blackmail Wike. A lot of times, especially in the last couple of days, Wike has warned the Atiku group to be mindful of how G5 governors are attacked, otherwise he will fight back.
It is expected. That alarm is expected because sometimes when you do something that is right, you have to see or look at all sides to see where trouble is coming. You see, Wike has done so much to be able to bring certain things to the fore, to the understanding of Nigerians. He has talked like no other leader, political leader has talked. He has been so open. He has been very transparent, and he has had added grit to governance, to politics. For once, we have seen that we have seen a political leader that has not talked from two sides of his mouth. And there's certain to be opposition. So by raising that alarm, he's also bringing Nigerians up to speed to the fact that he may be attacked. The G5 people may be attacked and all that, So there's nothing wrong in that. I believe that there are certain feed columnists that are not making things to work well in politics in this country, and those people should be checked.
One of the problems he has, especially with his colleague governors who come from the southern part of the country, is the fact that he blew what was looking like a secret open. When he talked about the 13% derivation refund, that the Niger Delta governors have collected, and I think that has not gone down well with.
Why would it be secret? Why would anybody say that it's something that is secret?
But nobody knew about it until when
we have always known about it. We have always known about it. In Akwa Ibom State, there was a time the lid was blown open that the state government had the 175 billion that was not captured. Nobody talked about it, and at one point there were intimations by people in government house that it was miracle money. You understand? After some time, a lot more large swatches of funds, So we've always known about it, but the truth is that by the time you say it, they will say that you are anti-government, So it is a good thing. See, things must happen in this country for us to know that there are some people that do not want the progress of this country. Even the president had occasion to say that governors are the people that are not making local governments to develop, that they are the cause of the poverty, and it is true. I agree that it is true. When the purpose of government is to be able to see how to make people productive, find a way of putting money into the hands of the productive people. But what they do is that they sit in their government houses and then starve local government councils of money, and they don't allow this money to trickle down, and they will turn around to blame the federal government.
And 80% of the 133 million multidimensionally poor Nigerians are domiciled in states, in local government areas. And it baffles quite a number of people how government will be taking monies in billions. And, little or nothing.
And they can't pay pension.
It's done about a reduction of poverty index.
And in Akwa Ibom State, the federal government has done so much to Akwa Ibom State, has given so much money to Akwa Ibom State that it is very very offensive to hear people talk against the local, the federal government. Each time on the street, people are saying, "No, it's Buhari." What kind of thing is this? We have not been able to account for the humongous amount of money that we have seen coming to this state. And what we are doing is talking. Nobody should blame the federal government. Wike is a guy that has my heart. He was able to blow the lid open, and we are now coming to terms that it is not the federal government that is a problem. The problem of the garden egg is still in the garden egg. That is what I keep saying. The governors must raise up to the responsibility of making sure that hunger is thrown aside. In Akwa Ibom State, we don't have any reason for anybody to stay hungry. We don't have any reason for the economy not to be thriving. After all, the government says that they have 17 companies, and we should be able to ask how many Akwa Ibomites have been employed by this company. Is it still the age of government wanting to establish companies? How many people have been employed? There's so much poverty in Akwa Ibom. There's so much hunger in Akwa Ibom. Things in Akwa Ibom State have become so, the prices have soared so much that the problem in this state happens to be how people can put food on the table. And yet, if you hear a lot of people talking about federal government has done more than even what we deserve. So it is very sad and sickening.
All right, so we hear from the Nigerian Tribune that a total of 5.6 million PVCs have been collected so far in just Lagos alone. So what does this imply, and how can other states, encourage their citizens to go and get their PVCs? Because I think there is a deliberate move, in this state. People, I don't know if maybe they have been, I don't know if they're just they just decide to go get it by virtue of the information they have or anything.
It's the leadership. You have to deploy government organs to bring people. See, leadership is about getting people to take action. You understand? A lot of people don't care about what government talks about because government is not close to them. In Akwa Ibom, where I am, you need to have a little bit more education. The governor should be able to tell people, should be able to address people more often. Commissioners will go to their constituencies and just leave politics out of it and tell people to go and get their PVCs. But you see here stories of people going to ask people to bring their PVCs because of a certain support that they are being promised. So the government has to allow time for people. The government has to be able to tell people and make people to go and collect their PVC. It's not about going to register.
At different political fora, I hear governorship candidates of political parties tell their people to go and get their PVCs.
It's not the same thing. The government of the state, the government at the local government level, if it tells people to do something, then you can be sure that people will take it more seriously. It is not governorship candidates can go ahead and say that people will just say, hey, maybe it's because of the fact that they want us to come and vote for it. But there has to be a deliberate policy on the part of the organs of government to tell people to go and get their PVCs and also to vote. The job has not even started. There are people that went to get the PVCs because they think that at certain places you might be denied entry. Some people look at PVCs as the only way they can get their money from the bank, as the only way they can get their checks cleared is a way of identification. So the real work is how to get people to go out and vote. It is one thing to get your PVC. It is another thing for you to go out on that day of election to vote, because a lot of people can just collect the PVCs, keep it there, and then on that day they will be on the social media.
And a lot of people will also collect it, with the mindset that, okay, on the day of the election, I'm going to vote for whoever gives me more money. So
no, but at least let us get them to that election venue. The worst would be to take all that trouble to go and register.
Is it not proper such people remain at home rather than go outside with that kind of
No, we can always manage them when they get there. We can always make them to have a rethink. It is possible for them there to say, look, you get 2,000 naira and then sell your future for 4 years and 8 years. It is better for you to make. See, when you meet people during elections, while I have monitored elections, I have also participated in elections. The cocoa of it is to bring people out. Let them leave the comfort of their homes and come to line up.
So you think for somebody to stay for, I think, about a year and all kinds of information and orientation is given to them in all quarters and they did not change their mind, it is going to be on the day of the election that is remaining few hours that you will go and convince them?
No.
You think they will be convinced?
No. Get them, let them have their PVCs. Then look for a way of bringing them out. And then we will handle it from there. The important thing is that you cannot go to their houses and tell them, vote for the right person. It is at the polling booth that that sensitization. It is when you see them.
Is there anybody who's going to have time for that kind of sensitization on the polling unit?
No, but at least let people, what I'm saying is that try and sensitize people to come out to vote. It is not to get PVCs and sit down, because Nigerians are funny. They will just sit down and say, I've gotten my PVCs, and waiting for somebody to also tell them to come out to vote. So since they're waiting for you, you go ahead and vocalize it.
Okay, so the Vanguard newspaper is up next now. So we go there, we take Vanguard and the Daily Trust at the same time. So the Vanguard, petrol, DSS orders dealers to restore supply in 48 hours at officially approved rates. Defaulters to be treated as threats to national security as DSS meets NNPC officials, marketers, tanker drivers, other stakeholders. All right, so 2023 polls, we won't succumb to pressure, CDS. NUJ honors Vanguard publisher. Okay. Atiku versus G5. Plots, counter plots worsen. PDP crisis. Boko Haram insurgency, handiwork of foreign elements, Shehu of Borno. Why Nigeria is best placed to invest in Africa, Oshibajo. And of course, we go to the Daily Trust right away and take a look at that newspaper. The Daily Trust, please. The Daily Trust has this. DSS gives NNPC marketers 48 hours to end fuel scarcity, vows to deal with economic saboteurs. NNPC has 1.9 billion liters in stock. Marketers to get produce at products at ex-depot price. All right, so the DSS has decided to step into the fuel scarcity issue now.
And do they have the authority to issue?
That is the implication of the question I just asked you.
Do they have the authority to issue that threat?
Do they not have?
No, I think it should be a presidential directive. And besides, the easiest way to go about it is to make arrests, to apprehend people. It is not about just talking. It is not about ordering people. You don't handle a situation by ordering people as if they are pizza. It's not. It doesn't happen. You have to be able to do some surveillance. You have to be able to find out who the real culprits are, the economic saboteurs are, and then you apprehend them, and then other people will take it. You see, it's a hard copy thing. It's not about issuing threats.
But you have to let them know that we are coming after
you. No, what you should do is to arrest people, because if you have a presidential directive to this, if the presidency tells you have a presidential directive, it means it's backed up with certain sanctions. Arrest, apprehend. They know where these people are, because most of these people that are in this business are highly placed people in government. So I think it's just mere public relations. This thing has been festering for a long time. It has brought untold hardship to Nigerians. And just because you want to show that you are working, you are giving people 48 hours. What were we doing all that while? In Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital where we are now, we've been buying petrol for 250 naira for about 10 days now. And it has spiked up the prices of so many things. It has resulted in fights because the keke operators believe that the journey that was supposed to be, the trip that was supposed to be, the distance that was supposed to attract 50 naira is now 100. It has spiked up increases that more than 100%. And then you are saying that for 48 hours. You expect Nigerians to believe that? Go to where the source. Don't treat the symptoms. Go ahead and treat the thing from the source. That is, so I wasn't impressed by that order. It's not the way we do things. It's bad leadership for you to just sit down and give people 48 hours. We need to see people being apprehended. We need to locate the source of this economic sabotage.
One thing that is peculiar about our Vice President, Yemi Oshibajo, is how he takes the economy of Nigeria and Africa very seriously, because at different fora, you hear him hype Africa as a continent and, of course, expose all of those hidden potentialities, that are embedded and inherent in Nigeria that quite a number of people, especially the ones who don't stay here, did not know before now. And here on this newspaper, we hear he has given a plethora of reasons that Africa is the best place to invest. Do you think moves like this have any impact at all?
No, the Vice President is a wise man, and he knows what he's talking about. The truth about it is that where I come from, there's a proverb that goes like this, that you start becoming big from your house, from your homestead. You know, the Jews make money because they patronize themselves, they invest in themselves. Wherever you have a Jewish population in this world, you will see that there's a lot of prosperity because they buy Jewish things. So if you're an African country and then you cannot, your focus is only on the West, where the big lions are, economic lions are, you can't make money. But you can make profits if you are able to prosper within the continent. So there are some tigers in the frontline states like Lesotho, like Rwanda, that are making progress because they are localizing their operations within the continent. You know, so the vice president is very wise. I think he's a very great economic advisor, you know, because each time I listen to him speak, I see a lot of sense, economic sense. He's somebody who is experienced, you know. So I think that we should be pro-Africa as in Nigeria.
All right, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper has, we won't compromise 2023 election despite pressure, says Irabo. PDP shun all entreaties, temptations to thwart peaceful polls. Stakeholders want synergy among INEC, NCC, NICOM sites for hitch-free election. 2023 polls significant to Africa's stability, West African leaders say. Yesterday, the chief of Army Staff made some stunning revelation, and it got a lot of people wowed. You know, he confessed that a number of politicians are putting the military under pressure to rig elections for them.
Who should put people under? Who should put? Is it the military or the politicians that can put one under pressure? The military has all in its arsenal to enforce compliance with certain rules, and then they are coming out to tell us that politicians are put them under pressure.
But you don't know what politicians can do?
No. I think that it is. I don't want to say it's a smoke screen. I don't want to go there, but I think that the military has the ability to keep the peace during this election and then to stop talking about people putting them under pressure.
I don't know if this would be the first time you would hear, you know, that some politicians use people in uniform to carry out some nefarious activities.
That is not pressure. That is not pressure. Let the military tell us exactly. In fact, let the military keep the peace within this for this election. We don't want to know about the pressure that they're being put under. What the kernel of what he said was that there were certain lies that were told against the military, and he was able to use that forum, that press conference, to be able to disabuse the minds of Nigerians. But for anybody to say that they're putting the military under pressure to compromise the elections is it's something that is hackneyed. It's not something that gels well with me. The military must enforce.
But whether it gels well with you or not, if it is a fact, it is a fact.
No, it is expected.
Because number one, you're not a politician, so you don't know what.
No, I have played politics. I understand their operation. The politicians are desperate people that are pursuing their interests. And the military is an organized institution of government. Their responsibility is to ensure that we have trouble-free elections. And so despite the pressure that they are put under, they should not come to tell. It's like wringing their hands. Are they saying that they are not able to resist that pressure? Or they are telling politicians to stop compromising them? You know, so the military is well able to resist whatever kind of pressure. They are trained for that. You know, unless maybe they have become a particular kind of military.
But
that's my point.
Like people would say, this is Nigeria, so you don't know. Before
the military
a senior military official like that comes on the national television,
what am I supposed to clap for them?
No, but
or supposed to have pity or to tell politicians don't compromise the military?
It looks like you don't even believe they're real about, you know, that concern.
It doesn't look like. What I'm saying is that there are certain things that you should tell Nigerians at this point. We have been shocked to the state of unshockability. We know that politicians go to all extents. The other day, somebody was talking about a situation whereby swatches of rice, bags of rice, was being thrown away because they had gotten spoiled, they had gotten expired, and then to make room for other ones that will probably expire next year. So there are so many things that we politicians do that we cannot. But so the military should not be telling us what the military should be telling us what they have done to be able to stem this pressure. That's what the military was built for pressure. They are equipped for pressure. They should be able to tame the pressure. That's what I mean.
Okay, so there's this questions over enforcement, as VIPs escape contempt convictions. I don't know if you have an idea of what that newspaper headline is talking about.
Okay.
If you don't have, let me give you.
I have a fair idea.
Let me give you exactly. Let me attempt to
The
break it
IGP
down.
is one.
Not IGP. There is this move by the Nigerian Senate, to amend Administration of Criminal Justice Act to make convicts at the lower courts, maybe like the High Court, to still be presumed innocent in the eyes of the law until all the appeals up to the Supreme Court confirms that they're really guilty. So a lot of people have asked these questions. Number one, about the timing and the rationale behind that kind of attempt to amend that law, because I think the bill was sponsored on a Tuesday, and between Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, it passed through first and second readings and was committed to the Committee of Human Rights and Public Petitions to sit on it and do the needful for 4 weeks and report back to the National Assembly, possible for it to be passed. So how do you see, that move in the first place?
No, I think that is it lacks in terms of credibility of the legal process. For example, when a court of competent jurisdiction passes a sentence on somebody, and then you are saying that they should have a stay of execution of that sentence until the person has finished his appeal.
No, when they pass a sentence on you at that first stage.
Which one is first stage?
The High Court, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, it's a court of competent jurisdiction.
But there are windows for appeals.
There are windows until the appeals come forth.
That's what I'm saying. So now, because there are circumstances that you pass a sentence on an individual at that lower court, only for him to be discharged and acquitted at the appeal court. And meanwhile, this person has been in the prison for the number of years he has had to stay there and suffer for nothing. So they are saying it is not correct that you have made somebody to go through a very difficult moment only for the court later in life to now set you free.
It happens everywhere, even in America. It happens everywhere, even in
so because it happens in America, it should continue like that?
I'm not saying that we should continue like that. I am saying that these are issues of life. It has happened, it's been happening.
Has it happened to you before?
No, it's been happening. I've seen somebody who for 60 years has been in prison, and then at the end of the day, the person is found that there was a mistake and all of that. The truth about it is that you can't say that you will stop the person from going to prison or from suffering the penalty until he finishes the appeal. It's for me, it doesn't sit well with me. I think
where then is human rights?
No, I think it is to a certain perceived goal. It's a way of reversing maybe a certain this rights, or reversing a flaw in the legal system. Fine by me. But the truth is that until it gets into law, I'm still watching.
Well, it has generated a lot of mixed reactions. While some people...
I am ambivalent about it.
You're ambivalent?
Yes, ambivalent about it.
You started blowing grammar.
Ambivalent about it.
So it's just something that, but a lot of people were like, excuse me, so this can happen. And so many people are, suspecting that
what I try to do is that I stay on the right side of the law, because those early days, I used to have this phrase that the law is an ass and there's nothing you can do about it. So they are trying to bring it from that mold.
But comrade, do you know that maybe you should be the one to tell me that a lot of people who are in the prison don't have any business there?
They don't have any business. That's why we call for prison reform all the time, for reform of the judicial system all the time.
Do you see this as part of that reform?
Well, you could say that. But like it becomes like before it's passed into law, we'll wait and see how it unfolds.
Boko Haram now demands bicycle condiments from farmers.
Well, I told myself that I was not going to talk about anything connected with terrorism because it's highly politicized, and I would not like to use my energy to talk about a certain people that have done so much harm to this country. So whether they want aeroplanes or they want walking sticks and whatever, it doesn't gel with me. I think that those that are responsible, that are backers of this Boko Haram, will one day be disgraced, because I know that they would not have had a foothold in Nigeria if people did not invite them in, if people are not supporting them within Nigeria. So I am praying to God that one day these people will be disgraced. It is coming. It's just a matter of time.
Well, our own Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has made Forbes 100 most powerful women 2022 lists.
Yeah, she's a kind of, wherever the father is, I think he will be very happy. She's a superwoman in the world, and if you watch her career, it's based on knowledge. She's a very knowledgeable woman. During the good luck years, she did some kind of economic gymnastics that boded well for us, and she's a very notable person. So I feel happy to be associated with the country that she comes from, to come from the same country that she comes from. And I think it should be an inspiration to women, that it's the time for them to make a difference. Instead of having to go to look for another opportunity to talk about women's rights, they should go ahead and aspire. And who knows? Maybe she's a future presidential candidate in this country. We will have to draft her in to become our president so that she will turn the...
So that you will come and corrupt her?
No. Who says politics corrupts? Politics is service.
No, I'm just asking. I didn't say politics is corrupt. I said you, the members, will come and corrupt her.
No, I won't. I want a lot more knowledgeable people in politics. So
but I think her husband should take part of the accolades, because if he were like some African men, he would have felt...
No, but I thought they said behind a successful husband is a good wife. I never heard behind a successful wife is a good husband.
No, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of women, a lot of men feel so uneasy when the wife grows and continues to grow. And
I don't know where you get your statistics, Mike. Why do you say a lot of men?
Because I am an African and I see what is happening even in my neighborhood.
It's a mindset. It's a mindset. A lot more things have changed. A lot more men want to see women on the rise. I'm telling you, a lot more. It's a mindset thing.
When did they begin?
No. I've lived in an age that people encourage their women. I encourage my wife to be the best, and I know a lot of friends around me. So maybe your neighborhood is yet to see the light.
And you forget that we are in the news department, so we read about what's happening in different parts of the country. The accolade
is beyond the husband. It's
no, I didn't say the husband should take it. I said part of it, no matter how small it should be, because for a woman of her nature, when she was vying for the position of WTO, she was in Switzerland.
That's right.
And the husband had to travel down.
That's right.
To where she was putting finishing touches to a few things. And she really took time to say thank you to the husband. He said, look, my husband, I just said to my husband,
so what was so special about that?
No, I just said to my husband, come so that you see what I see, what I go through. So the husband was just sitting down like this. And I can imagine, weeks of travels, weeks of staying without a wife. I know you're going to accuse me of not getting married. And
that's not where I'm coming from.
But then you can imagine. So it takes a man with an exceptional quality. To have a wife who he does not see in months.
I'm sorry to disappoint you there.
I am trying to make you see why he should take the accolades.
No. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's a normal thing. Why do we expect our women to be around us when we are in the spotlight? Why? So if we expect our women...
Is it not because you're the man?
No, it's not. This is a clarion call to men to begin to learn how to keep the house clean, to cook, to do the things that I'm coming to do the things that women do, so that if she's not around in the course of duty, you will be able to keep the
take
home
over
front.
the job.
Yes, I've done that for all these years. I've been married for 20-something years, and I have learned how to stay without my wife at certain points.
So you're a virtuous man.
I never said so. Call me by my name. So don't give me any label. But the truth about it is that we congratulate the lady, and I am very happy to have her
as a sister.
Yes, and then the husband. You know, like you said, it takes a good husband to bring out the best in his wife. Nigeria should be very happy, and then let our women find new hero, find new quality in her, aspire to be the best, instead of having to talk about whether they should reserve some portions for them in the parliament
equality.
and all of gender equality. It's not. Let them get on the gravy train and move ahead.
So we must thank you very much, Comrade, for having come around today. That's where we're going to stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Comrade Udeme Basudofa, ABC Media Center. We take a short break. When we come back, we will speak with Barrister Oladotun, all the way from Abuja, and he's going to be talking about the Senate and the CBN monetary policy. The National Assembly, I think Senate, on Tuesday will be having an interface with the Central Bank of Nigeria over the new withdrawal limits. And of course, you already know that the House of Representatives has already ordered the CBN to stop the policy and all that. But of course, again, just yesterday, the central bank governor went to see Mr. President, and Mr. President said, do not fear anybody. So we're going to take a look at all of those in just a moment. But for now, let's go on a short break.
Welcome to the rule of the majority, a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and supervised through a system of representation. Democracy belongs to the people. Political Trail follows these developments and many more. Political Trail, trailing political developments.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
It's that time of the year again, where Ibom Discoveries TV, in association with Boy Oh Boy Comedy and Advocate Broadcasting Network, presents Uncommon Quiz Hour Season 2 in celebration of an uncommon icon of grace, hope, and progress, His Excellency Senator Dr. Godswill Akpabio, CON, on his 60th birthday. To participate, call or text to win fantastic prizes. And there is also empowerment program for 60 less privileged persons. Live on Passion 94.5 FM, 5 to 6 p.m. and ABN TV channel 140 on Star Times, 3 to 4 p.m. on Friday, 9th December 2022. Host Advocate Stephen Ita, co-host comedian Boy Oh Boy. For sponsorship, please call 0802-702-2835 on Common Quiz Hour. Let's celebrate his legacies.
Life is a combination of colors and experience in its beauty. The Lifestyle Gallery showcases the beautiful blends of African lifestyle, a TV magazine of lifestyle, food, homes, and fashion, combined with interesting interviews on trending issues. I am Nana Abena. Welcome to my world. Join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. and a repeat on Sunday, showing on ABN TV.
Let's talk security, current affairs, governance, politics, your view, elections, rule of law, economic issues, foreign events on the Talking Point. Talking Point, weekdays on this channel.
Here is how we begin life's journey. From a moment of uncertainty to a point of transformation, the journey never ends. But it all begins with the birth, and here is the birth of the uncommon transformer. Godswill Obodopabio, born on the 9th of December 1962 in Okana, Ikontwin, a Senodam local government area of Akwa Ibom State, sailed through childhood without a father, as he lost him at an early age and was raised by his mother, Madam Lucy Obodopabio, née Yangaito. Godswill Obodokpabio had his first school leaving certificate at Methodist Primary School, Okana. After obtaining his first school leaving certificate, he proceeded to the Federal Government College, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. While at FGC, Godswill Akpabio was appointed the senior prefect. Akpabio further gained admission to study law at the University of Calabar, Cross River State, and while in school, he was elected the Speaker of the Parliament. Godswill Akpabio worked briefly as a teacher and then as an associate partner with Paul Osoro & Co., a law firm in Nigeria. He further got a job at the Emis Telecoms Limited, a wireless telecommunications company in Lagos, Nigeria, where he quickly rose to the position of the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer. Born with a heart and passion for humanity, Godswill Akpabio ventured into full-time partisan politics and was appointed in 2002 by His Excellency Architect Obong Victor Otta as a commissioner in 3 ministries in the state, namely Ministries of Land and Town Planning, Petroleum Resources, and Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. With the same zeal and undying love for his people, Godswill Akpabio went through and surmounted mountainous hurdles and got elected into office as governor of Akwa Ibom State, an office he discharged what became uncommon transformation to his people and the state for 8 uninterrupted years. Up until this moment, the good people of Akwa Ibom State are yet to recover from his exceptionally great service that he rendered. Godswill Akpabio, on exit as governor, mounted the legislative rostrum and became a senator representing the good people of Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District, from where he broke a record to emerge the first ever new senator to become a Senate Minority Leader. Nature, which has a way of rewarding good people, became kind to him, and he became a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with a portfolio of Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. That man is turning 60 this month. On the 9th of December 2022, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio will turn a sexagenarian. It's 60 years of accomplishment, 60 years of demonstration of love for his people, 60 years of weathering the storm and growing stronger. The people of Akwa Ibom State do not mince words when they say they love you.
Godswill Obodokpabio, the man that will be celebrating his birthday on the 9th of December, was the governor of Akwa Ibom State, the uncommon transformer, the man that has taken Akwa Ibom State to the center, the man that has made the whole world to know the state called Akwa Ibom State. This is one man that has transformed boys to men when he was the governor of Akwa Ibom State.
He's a good man here. He's a good man. We love him.
His legacies are rep sister loquitur, like the lawyers will always say, that the fact speaks for itself. We enjoy good roads in Akwa Ibom, and from the historical background and the things I've gathered so far, I've got to discover that the peace we enjoy in Akwa Ibom today is as a result of some of the foundations he has made in Akwa Ibom State.
During his government, he was able to make things easy. At least there was enough food on the table of an average Akwa Ibom person.
I miss him as a governor. That time that they said that he wants to go to a president, he wants to go to a president of this Nigeria, I was praying that he should go to the president. All of us will vote for him.
I would like to wish him a happy birthday and more long life and prosperous years ahead.
We need such leaders that care about the youth, care about the women.
I like him very much, and I wish him happy birthday.
Your Excellency, as you turn 60 this month of December, history will be kind to you. Generations yet unborn will hear your name and smile that there was a man who came, lit, and transformed their motherland to a place of pride. Happy birthday, GSM.
carbon footprint follows environmental issues, from pollution to waste disposal, climate change to global warming, greenhouse effects, and more. Emission varies depending on individuals, location, habits, and personal choices. Get the hang of it on carbon footprint. Join me, Awe Ruswogene Ebo, on the program every Saturday at 11 a.m. as we run through the consequences of your actions and inactions on the environment. Carbon footprint. Only on ABN.
This is Events 360. We bring to you the best of events in and around the Niger Delta region and beyond. The show, the wedding, the parties, and more. We will introduce to you the most beautiful place you can visit with family and loved ones. Only on Events 360. Join us every Saturday for the program.
Event 360 with Uwem and Tilly.
Only on ABN TV.
With the latest reports from the African continent, Asia, Europe, Australia, the Middle East, the Americas, sports and entertainment are not left out. With correspondents bringing you up to date with developing stories, exploring all views, making sure all voices are heard. Join me every weekday at 10 a.m. on Global View. A daily update of reports and developments comes to you at 6 p.m. on Global Updates. Catch all our programs live on our website at abn.ng/live or on StarTime channel 140. On socials, find us at ABN TV. ABN, a part of you.
Hello everybody! I'm Nena.
And I'm Gigi.
Welcome to Engine Season 2!
The place to find out about the world we live in
and the creatures that we share our planet with.
Join us on the most exciting adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
and out of this world technology.
Meet incredible scientists
and learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Be part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day.
Let's go!
Engine leads the way.
Watch this educative program on this channel every Saturday at 9 a.m. and a repeat on Sunday at 11 a.m. ABN, a part of you.
Join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. and a repeat on Sunday. Showing on ABN TV.
All right, thank you very much for joining us again on the program. And of course, we will be taking a look at the Senate and the Central Bank of Nigeria monetary policy. And of course, I have standing by all the way from Abuja virtually, Ariel Adatung Hassan. He is the Executive Project Director, Lawyers for Reform Group. Thank you very much, Barrister Hassan. Good to see you on the program today.
It's a pleasure to be on your program.
Okay. And let me immediately thank you very much for being on the program, and to immediately ask you about what you feel about the central bank withdrawal limits in the first place, because that policy is going to affect everybody, including you. So in the first place, do you think it is a policy that should have happened now, or you think another strategy should have been used? What do you think?
The central bank policy and anti-mass with reasoning when you talk about the currently faced with and already going into an election. Anything that will stiffen to Nigerians, I think this is just one of it. We are talking about 700,000, and for corporate organization to spend. How did they going to rate it? How are they going to scenario that is coming? It's just like somebody, and that is a premeditated another state of anarchy where POS, and we are even faced with scarcity. So a whole lot of things, the right think tank, we have come up with that policy at this time, and I'm waking up to the attack, but challenging that audacity, that republic. So, and I believe that we hope to and ensure that the due diligence is being subjected to a lot of scrutiny, especially security. All these policies just being churned out at the of the present administration is nothing good. In law, you look at the intention. What is there any premeditated plan? Is there any schemes behind the thing? We believe strongly as Nigerians, as regulators that are aware of what we arrive. So these are critical areas that call attention. Withdrawal limit and cashless policy of banking, internal banking operation. You already have your withdrawal limit. You can have a withdrawal limit to 100, depending on the kind of account that you operate. Even maybe for those that have much of trading to do, how do you manage those that are trading in maybe market women that are going to buy food stuff in the farm? This will definitely be a terrible situation for the entire masses and the entire nation at large.
Barrister, but you know that there is no good policy that will not bite a segment of the society harder. And I want to believe that even in other climes that we so admire, some of the things that make them who they are, today came with a price. So don't you think that Nigeria, should just know that, it is just natural that when something good is about to come, that definitely you're going to be affected one way or the other?
No, ab initio-wise, this policy is in bad faith. This policy can be seen to be in good light. And I'm reiterating, as a citizen, as with immediate effect, it is not in good faith. And I'm surprised that Mr. Godwin Emefiele is relying on the fact that Mr. President has given him the go-ahead. Discussed at the FEC meeting, were there proper resolutions and discussed on the long-term implication of this policy? Can this policy be regarded as from proper reasoning and well-articulated plan if it were to be to fight cashless policy? When did they start this cashless policy? Nigerian monetary system have been operating from cashless policy. This is not a new policy. One would just be, it's as if we are just coming into a cashless policy. We are all using our ATM. We are all used to withdrawal limits. We all have our systems of this whole new idea. We are just not yet ending with the change of currency, which currency was initially planned, was that by January 31st, the new currency policy will be launched. But planning, the CBN governor just announced, just via a press conference, that tomorrow will be launching the cashless, maybe the new currency. This is not a banana republic whereby anything goes. These are kind of situations that lead nations to unnecessary crisis and chaos. And we need to be circumspect with how do we really need to solve some challenges for the proper, in order to solve the problem of cashless policy. I don't think the approach of limiting cash withdrawal at this critical point in time. Whereby we're even going into festive season. We are now from festive season. We are going into election. You are just 60 days or less to the election. So this whole policy will be counterproductive. And I'm not putting it as a soothsayer or in bad faith. I only say this as citizen and as a lawyer. I think this policy should be stamped and stopped by the court if the CBN governor refuses to listen. Because not everything that the government does, is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's the people that come to the center of governance. And if this policy is anti-people, let us draw a proper measure. For us to drive to a full-blown cashless policy, we must look at our power. Is there any proper power supply that can meet the entire nation with 24 hours, just like those developed countries like US and other clients are operating a cashless policy? Because for you to operate a cashless policy, your phone must be on. You must have 24/7 power supply. You must also be the IT compliant. Then how much of our citizens is IT compliant? We have the market women, we have the villagers. How are they going to cope? Are they not Nigerians? It's not just because a policy is coming. You must look at the lower cadre, you must look at the medium class, you must look at the higher class within the society. Does with this policy meet the need and yearnings of those people and those citizens? Will there not be a conflict and inequality of policy formulation? So these are all issues that call for concern. And my own opinion is an advice to the governor of Central Bank. Please, this policy is not timely. It's not the best time if there's going to be any proper measure of achieving this. Limiting cash to that 100,000 naira monthly is really not the best.
Okay,
so
barrister. Barrister, let me come in there.
Any meaningful something out of this. Sorry, we can't achieve any meaningful thing out of this.
Barrister, a lot of people had already predicted, that this policy is going to be resisted by politicians because they seem to be the people who was hit by this policy, given, the fact that the people who've been moving around with large amounts of monies, in physical cash and all that. Now, let me confirm from you, are you saying what you're saying, that is criticizing this CBN new monetary policy because you are a politician, or you are in your heart of hearts sincerely thinking as a Nigerian that it is not supposed to be?
It would be ridiculous for us to look at some policy targeted at some specific views. If our policies are tied around political machinations and waiting, I don't think we will be regarded as a country that respects rule of law. And I want to also let you understand, beyond being involved in politics, we are all political animals. We all belong to one or two political interests. We all hold one or two political opinions. So it is not restricted when we now talk about politicians. Politician, being a politician is not a daily business. I'm a lawyer. I'm a secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. So if I'm interested in the political space and development of the country, that does not make me to now want to now make my opinion be regarded that it must be for politicians. No.
All right. So
disabuse your mind. This policy, even if politics goes and comes, it will not solve any problem. If they need to solve political problems, let them energize and strengthen our law when it comes to execution of the law. But if we have some laws that are just meant for the haves and the have-not are being treated inequally, for me, I will be a strict advocate of implementing a law that puts a benchmark on how politicians, our political leaders run us aground in this country from all political divides. It is not just one political party we are talking about here. We are talking about Labour Party. We are talking about PDP, APC, MPN. So if we are talking about all these political parties, there is a need for a more national scale to get a political driven law beyond the electoral law that has the other guiding principles and policy on election spending, on bribery and vote buying. We have rules that guide all that. But what about the implementation? Who are going to execute the law? When we look at the execution of the law, are police also complicit in the vote buying spree? Is any political party, is it an exclusive preserve of a political party? Almost every person might be involved. But if we have a strict law that gives a maximum term of sentence as punishment to whoever violates the law, and we can crystally see that no one is seen above such. So we need to be strictly disciplined and morally conscious that we cannot be operating a garbage in, garbage out principle. A fire brigade approach will not solve this problem. If any politician is having any means to solve their problem with, let them deal with it. Let them not use their own sentiment and opinion to rubbish us as citizens. At the end of the day, it will be counterproductive. In order to solve one singular problem, we will succeed to end ourselves more catastrophic issues that will take us many years to really heal ourselves. And I know at the moment we are currently suffering. We are regarded as the poverty capital of the world. We have over 90 million who does not even have this cash. So how on earth are we not going to be sentimental to say, okay, this policy will only be restricted to the house? How do you distinguish your house? When you go to churches, when you go to mosques, can you distinguish who have and who does not have?
But barrister, barrister, the Central Bank of Nigeria says that out of 2.9 trillion naira, that is the total amount of money in circulation in this country, that 80% of that amount of money is circulating outside the banking system. So who are the people holding the rest, a larger percentage of the entire money that is circulating? Who are those ones? So don't you think that this policy is aimed at returning the monies to the bank and having a control of our cash system?
No, it won't, because in every household, will every man now come and tell you, I have 100 million naira in my house and I'll come and let the whole world know? No, this is a nation that we know how we grew to the level that we have. We had a checkered history, from military to democracy, and this old shenanigans is not a one day that will now be healed overnight. If you need political discipline, let us inject new right laws and review our laws in order to have a standard operational system for every section of this country. Because we looking at just one singular issue, that it will stop lumping of cash at home. That does not stop the politician. That does not stop the market woman. That does not stop. Even you saw from the Fulani cattle areas, they say it will take them 6 months for them to even mop up cash from the farm. So are you saying that those people there don't have rights to also trade? Because these people every day, they don't deal on banks. Majority of them buy and sell in the open market. So we have not been used to that system. And it's going to take more from maybe beyond just the policy. There is a need for the education of the policy, orientation of the policy, and implementation of the policy. People must get involved. People must love what you want to tell them. It's not just shoving policies into people's throats without you that is projecting those policies being simplistically committed to delivering it on your own part. So if CBN is the regulatory body, which we know as a regulatory body has right to regulate our finances, our cash, and our inflow, must also look at our budget. We have budget deficit at the moment. We have huge loans that is hanging on our nation's neck as we speak. We don't even have an immediate plan of solving the poverty rate in the country. This will not reduce poverty. This will only aggrandize the rich to subdue the poor. So this whole policy plan will be somersaulting at the detriment of the masses, the helpless masses, the unemployed youth. So we need to address job creation. We need to address agricultural evolution or revolution. So we need a whole lot of things that will bring economic positives, not the negative imprint that is really nosediving the nation into some unusual state of disrepair. And we need to address this collectively as citizens.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister. We understand that the Nigerian Senate wants to discuss with the Central Bank of Nigeria and debate on the matter on Tuesday, the next Tuesday. And we're also aware that the House of Representatives was not happy about the policy yesterday. And of course, as a result of that, they've asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend that policy. Does the National Assembly have any right to ask the Central Bank of Nigeria not to continue with that policy under our laws?
Yes. The National Assembly in the Constitution has the onus, right, of checkmating and balancing political powers, especially on the executive. And within the central bank policy formulation, the act that establishes the central bank emanated from the National Assembly. And if the National Assembly, being the regulatory arm of government that checkmates every other arm, especially when we talk about the executive, I believe this policy ought to have started ab initio via the Committee on Finance and Appropriation within the Senate and the House of Reps. There must have been proper discussion. There must have been proper national value and discourse and orientation before it's being implemented. It means that some policies of government from the executive are not going through due process. Policies of this nature are matters of national importance. And if the National Assembly have now summoned, meaning they're woken up to the attack, meaning they need to firstly challenge the CBN governor from not taking cue from informing the legislature before going just a while to deliver that policy to Nigerians. So recalling of that process first is a first line charge of being drawn with good omen. We now hope that the National Assembly should not just sit as a lame dog. Just stopping a policy will not help us. These are critical times that the National Assembly must take due national involvement and get more involved in our monetary system and how monies are being allocated, how monies are being managed, which bank and who are these people, the regulatory agencies, the law enforcement agencies, all of us must be on deck to regulate this. So it's not just that this one size fits all of stopping the policy will help us, but these are times that we also really need to look at our exchange rates. We need to also look at how we solve some policies that have not been helpful. If there is a need to review the law, let them review the law. So we believe that beyond this administration still remains Nigeria. Let us continue to preach how best we can have good national development, national policy on education, on agri, on youth employment. Without proper planning, we cannot achieve. Without planning, I'm so sure there was no proper planning by the CBN. They just woke up within some few days and begin to churn out all kinds of policies that are not really in tandem with reality and reasoning. So if laws are meant for man and man not meant for law, we need to begin to look critically and analyze issues on how best to manage a country of over 200 million. It's not a village that we are talking about, that a village headmaster will just churn out orders and laws and everybody goes queuing behind those orders. No. Policies must go through due process. Those processes must be well digested and well fraternized to meet with the yearnings of the citizens. So that is why it's called democracy. So it is not the oligarchic system that we are currently seeing, which is not going to be helpful to us to the development of our democracy.
Okay, Barrister. So as it stands now, are you saying that the National Assembly has the powers to ask the Central Bank of Nigeria to reverse that law, and they will reverse it? So how then, if that happens, then where then is the independence of the central bank?
No, the central bank is not independent of regulatory and monitoring by a statutory agent of government. Just as the executive has the power of executing those policies, the central bank is acting on behalf of the federal government. It is independent in terms of its activities of how best to regulate banks, how best to allow things to be done appropriately. But when there are some certain policies that goes beyond reasoning, there is a need for everybody to be called to order, because power corrupt and absolute power corrupt absolutely. If there is no checkmate, I don't think we will be having a nation. Anybody that is the CBN governor just tell us overnight that this state is what you'll be spending, that state you don't have to spend that. Then who is now going to be regulating the central bank? It's the Senate and the executive. So, and it is with limited power. So those powers that they still have to checkmate and that is why they need to summon him to explain and also give, and if those slides are not in the issues and the time is what they will not look as a matter of necessity. When a matter is brought on the national scale on the premise of necessity, then that doctrine of necessity will be applied here, that the policy cannot move on. It's not workable, it's not realistic, and it's not the timing is dangerous. So it is not for the purpose of politicians just speaking for themselves that we have to be considering from that myopic view, to be too myopic, to look at that policy from political angle alone. Look at the economic, the social, and every other sphere that will be affected as a result of this policy. You don't solve one problem and create calamity for the nation. That is not a problem-solving approach. It's just going to aggrandize our problems, our yearnings, and our woes beyond our solutions.
But so many people are worried that these National Assembly members are themselves politicians. And of course, when you are talking about timing, I want to ask you, what kind of timing? Does it have to do with the election season? And if it has to do with election season,
no.
How then do you want people to believe that you are sincere about the complaints you're making? Because it shouldn't be about politics. A lot of people believe that the economy of Nigeria has to be strengthened. And in order for it to be strengthened, you have to go cashless so that you can control the cash and, of course, help to make Nigerian currency to have value. And not, have over 80% of the entire money in circulation being in somebody's houses. And of course, a lot of people believe that vote buying is going to happen during election, whether or not anybody likes it. But the Central Bank of Nigeria does this, partly to checkmate some of those excesses. So I still want to ask you if, objectively, you feel that it is still not correct for the Central Bank of Nigeria, to do this, because a lot of people have accepted it and they have even applauded, the move by the CBN.
Well, my brother, I believe I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I don't want you to see that that we are making a mischievous, we are making this discussion mischievous, because the reality is what we are looking at. Not about the timing for the fact that we are going into election. I'm only trying to put those timing as whatever they are even doing now does not even meet up with reasoning. It's not the best of time. If we have to really look at our national policy on money, on adding value to the way our monetary system is being regulated, there must be proper and long-term awareness program. It is not this crash program or crash policy that, let us just limit this overnight and it's going to work. You and I are going to bear the brunt. Maybe you are talking so easily because, I don't know, maybe you have you are not going to be bounded by this policy. But when they limit your expenses to 100,000 and you have more than over 500,000, a million naira to meet up with, how do you regulate? How do you meet? Who are you going to beg?
You make transfers. Barrister, you make transfers. If you have a problem to solve, barrister, if you have a problem to solve, and
what we believe is that this policy is not made in good faith. is in bad faith. And if a policy is being targeted at putting out a specific monstrous issue, which we all know that our political system is archaic, but we need a proper more measure. We cannot address our solution from the CBN angle. If we have to really look at our problem, it's not the monetary issue, it's about orientation, it's about our morals. We don't have the moral. Even if you put an angel in Nigeria to manage us, with this kind of constitution that we are operating on, it's not going to achieve anything meaningful. We need a total review of our laws. Is the government now ready to give us a new people's constitution that you and I would have deliberated upon? We know how we managed to arrive at the 1999 constitution that we are all talking about. And that is why we've been demanding for a proper review and a redirection, a real review of the constitution that will give life to how situation needs to be managed. So, and we don't need this kind of fire brigade approach to manage a huge nation as Nigeria. There are some certain things on the exclusive list that needs to be regulated. There are some certain areas of law that we need to also critically review before some things can have way. If you are just wanting to solve the money problem, how do you now solve the morality problem? My own opinion is that beyond us just looking at the immediate CBN policy, it won't solve the problem, because the same CBN governor we saw his poster during some few months ago when vying for the office of the presidency. Either he love it or not, he's interested or not, that shouldn't even be or come to the first place that a CBN governor should be running an election in a country. For the same election that we are talking about, do we now say this is an act of a vendetta for a CBN governor that did not win a primary or did not even come up to maybe for the presidency of the country? So we look at it from different prisons, and we cannot, from one angle, begin to describe an elephant. We all need to look at it from a very circulated prison that we all can also, this is the country, this is our problem. Let us review the law. How do we regulate the local government? The way that our local government is being run today, does it really meet up with the democratic ethos? Our state government and House of Assembly, do we really have anything that shows that we are really prepared for governance? The federal government is not too big for just some few oligarchs to just stay somewhere and be turning out orders for over 200 million citizens without them knowing how we feel. The petrol scarcity of today, would that have solved our problem? We read in the newspaper maybe about 2 days ago that the DSS will be as cautioned the NLPC and the marketers on the insecurity the first scarcity is causing. Then all this policy, the vandalization of our pipeline, does it come from this? And the way our natural resources are being walloped every day, will this affect it? We don't just have to look at it that, let us just target one politician, let us just reduce one politician, let us shoot one person, and all of us will now die. No, it's not going to be the best way to solve a problem.
All right, Barrister.
Let's have an empirical view
Barrister.
of solving a problem, not a myopic view of resolving an issue.
All right, Barrister, a lot of times the Central Bank of Nigeria has reiterated that the policy is not targeted at any individual or a group, that it is just a policy aimed at strengthening the economy of the country. But you and I will agree, if we don't agree on any other thing, but we should be able to agree that desperate times require desperate measures. And there are times you need to take very painful decisions to solve some very difficult problems. Don't you think that this is one of such painful decisions that this country has to make, that the Central Bank of Nigeria has to make to strengthen the value of the Naira and solve a lot of financial issues bedeviling this country? And apart from that, let me just add, Barrister, don't you think that by reason of a lot of people thinking that Nigeria has very strong men and not very strong institutions, don't you think that the Central Bank of Nigeria is trying to be that strong institution that wants to help the system to solve the problem? So if that is the intention, why can't we give the central bank a trial?
Well, I think these are symptoms of lack of proper planning, because he who fails to plan on just inevitably plan to fail. There must be, for this kind of policy to work, you are talking about unusual times requires the unusual solution. But the enabling environment, you must consider it. For the fact that you want to kill a cockroach and it's standing on your glass center table in your sitting room, and you are holding a sledgehammer to kill that cockroach on that center table, will you be destroying more things beyond the cockroach? Can't you just see a way of driving out that cockroach, injecting maybe with an insecticide, bringing that hammer? Would that be the proper solution? It's not that maybe they are bringing an idea, a policy, but that policy does not really seem to, it does not really gel with giving the solution. That is what we are saying here. Irrespective of the fact that it's on economic scale, would that reduce our dollar rate from the over 700, 800 per $1 that we're spending? Would that affect the amount of huge loans that we are having on our neck? Then these political dragons that are now wrecking us day and night, where are the law enforcement agents that are meant to even prosecute them? The ones that are prosecuted, how much more are they being freed? How much more are they being granted amnesty and pardon? So we look at all these old amalgams together that are really serious with democracy. So it's not just for us to just look at the sentiment hanging around our neck. As citizens, we all cry, oh, give us the policy. At the end of the day, you and I will bear the brunt. They might not even be affected, because even the money that they are talking about, that they are limiting it to a million of need proper that area beyond what we are just seeing now. So that is my own advice, that let this policy be shut down. Let us now look at the areas. You know, CBN is an inexhaustive institution. It's not for Emefiele's personal institution. It's a policy, it's a statutory body. And that is why, if whatever that they are doing is going to travail, because we have to look at the security implication itself. So if this policy will not be of immediate solution to our economic challenge and our woes, let them drive out more intervention funds that will help the SME to grow, where businesses can thrive, where you and I will not be talking about being povertarians and impoverished. We'll be talking about economic survival as we speak. Value for us to meet the yearnings of the millions of Nigerians that are outside there. If that policy comes today, it's not going to help matter. POS operators will be badly hit. You and I that are really trying to survive will be badly hit. Even if there is going to be any solution, the current limitations of withdrawals that will have per day, depending on your kind of account, will be guided along the line. The only thing is that what are the money being used for? So then who are the persons spending the money? If you are not looking at just one myopic, no less than 10% politician, and over 90% of us that are citizens will just be affected. That with these politicians you are talking about, they spend dollar notes, they have domiciliary account. Who is going to regulate the domiciliary account? With this same policy guide domiciliary foreign accounts? So we don't just have to look at it with just one myopic view that you and I will only be the ones to be affected as citizens. So we are just going to be bearing brunt of other people's sin.
All right.
If the real sinners are there, let the federal government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, let him bring out a matching order.
All right. All right, Barrister. All right, Barrister. Barrister, thank you very much. And of course, your point has been made, and we must have to thank you for sparing your time with us this morning. It's been a very wonderful time, and thank you very much. All right, so
Thank you very
we have been speaking with Barrister Oladotun Hassan. He is the Executive Project Director for Reforms Group, and he was bearing his mind on the monetary policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. So a lot has been said. Let's see how it pans out as we keep our fingers crossed, to see the Central Bank of Nigeria, most importantly, through the Governor, Godwin Emefiele, yesterday, has given assurance that, of course, as the Central Bank of Nigeria, we have to do what we've got to do. We are going to do what we have to do to make sure that the economy is improved. We need stronger institutions to be able to take some deliberate steps to make sure that we get out of economic doldrums. And if the Central Bank of Nigeria is going to be that institution, then I think we should give the CBN a chance, to prove itself and all of that. But most importantly, the Central Bank of Nigeria has made it very resounding clear that it is not going to be rigid about the policy. When the policy begins, a few things are going to be observed, and of course, a little to the right, a little to the left, to give people, especially the POS operators who are bitterly complaining and feeling that, of course, the policy is going to throw them out of business. So let's just hope that the Central Bank of Nigeria haven't given Nigeria its words that, of course, we will not, just bring out a policy to make you feel uncomfortable, that as a bank, human beings are behind the bank, and of course, governance must have to come with a human face. So that is to prove to you that you have nothing, absolutely nothing to fear about. The Central Bank has got you covered. And of course, we Nigerians, we will continue to see how, what happens in the process. And as a media organization, we will be providing you updates, from that kind of policy. So until then, let's have faith and keep our faith alive and be hopeful that better things are going to come to this country. So on that note, we must have to thank you for having joined us on the breakfast program this morning. Take advantage of all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the rest of them. Drop your comments, drop your questions. Let us be more interactive on the social media, and of course, it's going to be much better. My name is Michael Basti, looking forward to meeting with you on Monday. Security is everyone's business. Report every suspicious character around you and your neighborhood to the security agencies so that together we can live in peace. Go get your PVC. Make sure you collect your PVC. It is remaining just a few days to the election. Do the needful and you'll be glad. Take care of yourself and have a very wonderful day.